Welcome viewers. It is another moment that we have met, and we should I thank the Almighty for the time we have been allocated. This is Machuka Nyareko TV talk show, where we analyze socio-economic and political as well as governance issues relating to our state. Today, I want us to focus on the Gen Z, Gachagua, and William Ruto. Majorly, I'll ask this simple question: what should be done so that there can be normalcy and the country goes back to development? What space should these young people be given on governance? Do the young people have any trust to the head of state? Who should be on the table during the discussions on how Kenyans can get out of this turmoil? If you are watching this channel for the first time, kindly subscribe so that whenever we produce a similar video, YouTube will automatically notify you. And for our resident subscribers, thank you so much for your continued support. Continue watching, sharing as much as possible. Even sometimes give your comments so that they can also inform my thinking. This is the House of Ideas. Welcome back to our discussion today. Today, as I have indicated before, I'll focus on the three groups and the possible ways in which we can achieve peace in our country. Okay. It is difficult as things stand to achieve peace because the young people and those who are approaching them seem not to understand the problem of young people, and if they understand, they assume or they keep a mask in their, or a crowd in their face. One thing that should be clear is that the young people no longer trust the President of the Republic of Kenya. That means it is going to be next to impossible for them to agree on any arrangement that they are likely to make. On the issue of trust, what should the President do? Because the President, of course, he has announced that he wants to make or he wants to have a dialogue with these young people. On the issue of trust, he can send Gachagua, because Gachagua to some way is somehow resonating with the demands of the young people. It appears that there was a time, or it came a time when Gachagua was totally cleansed from the deep thoughts that the state has got to say everything. So, to some extent, Gachagua is resonating so well, despite the fact that it is not 100%, but he can easily convince the young people. Actually, it's the one who has maintained, who has saved the regime, the Ruto regime up to now. After this, I'll do another clip on how Gachagua has saved the Ruto regime to this extent. So, after the young people have met with Gachagua, because the young people are worried, who are these going to State House to represent their views? These are judge leaders, and probably they have been asked to pray for normals. The authorities should understand so well that the young people have got two major problems, or three. One of them being unemployment. And this one we said several times before. And I don't understand why they assume these simple talks that we make here. We said several times before that these young people are suffering from unemployment. Young people are finishing schools and they can have nothing. They have nothing. And they have seen it as a trend, because earlier on they were saying that our parents are suffering. Do we just inherit suffering? So, and probably this is because Ruto, or President Ruto, failed to use his sword. During his inauguration, he was given a sword. And he said the other day that that sword is just meant, it's not meant for just carrying, it is meant for work. That is power and authority. It means that with that sword, you can be with someone as your best friend, but if he does against the will of the people, you just abandon him. You sack him. Today we don't kill, but you do away with him immediately. These young people, I was listening to this Gen Z in these platforms, they were saying, they have been saying today that if Ruto is very serious, he should have done away with his cabinet. Because some of these problems, some of those questions that he was being asked, they are meant by his people. And this group doesn't know the cabinet. They only know Ruto. It's the person whom they chose. It's the person whom they dedicated their powers, and Ruto extended to look for a committee, which is his cabinet, and many others, to assist him in discharging his duties. So, those other people, they are not their problems, they are Ruto's problems. And if he continues putting them, they see that he is not ready to work with them, because they assume that they are suffering because of corruption and not nothing else. And if I were Ruto, I have three things in mind, three pertinent issues in my mind on how to tackle this issue. One, I will send Rigathi Gachagua to negotiate, not negotiating, to listen to these young people. Two, I will reconstitute immediately my cabinet. Emilio Mike Paki did this 2005 when an important draft constitution was defeated. When you reconstitute your cabinet, it doesn't mean that you hate those people. is to try to instill confidence to that people, to the masses, that you are not among them. These are the people whom you had dedicated your duties, but they are not performing as expected. So he should reconstitute his cabinet. Actually, that's what I heard them say. Another thing is that he should not see them, or a few of them, as criminals, because they were passing a given message, and criminals, if they were criminals, because they believe that they were not criminals, joined them. Since them they were saying they were peaceful demonstrations. So he should be part of them. Now what is lacking between Ruto and the Gen Zs up to now is that he is still far. He doesn't want to be part of it, of the Gen Z movement. He should have left those ones and moved to the Gen Z movement. That any resolution made within in his state house should take the shortest time. It doesn't have to wait for 2 or 5 days, because the Gen Z movement is online 24/7. How can they wait for 1 or 2 weeks? On the issue of the Gen Z members or the generation, they feel that if they leave you still in power, you are going to target them. So they will rather have you out so that there will be no one to target them. So it is not wise for you to say you are targeting criminals. What are criminals doing out? Criminals should be behind the bar. Yours is just, right now it should be doing with ensuring that there is security to Kenyans and their properties. Because that one also will not be okay, that maybe after the demonstrations, people don't have their properties, that they have either strained for years and years. And something very important, after sending regarding Gachagua, they should go and prepare a budget, a finance bill that is employment oriented, a budget bill that they will feel that it caters for their interests. That is the discussion, the simplest way that a discussion can be done with these young people. These young people are after jobs. They are not even interested with you. They only gave you an opportunity because you talked about how you are going to create jobs. Now tell them, because they have the ability, they will tell you how they will come up with the jobs, and your work is to factor in their demands to the budget. And if you do that, they will not have a problem of you going to USA, to China, or to any other place, because they know any money that you are going to look for is being factored in their budget. They don't have an issue with payment of debts. They have an issue with employment. And members of parliament, because they have failed to listen to them, they may have ideas and even give to some of these members of parliament on our employment. chances can be increased in Kenya. But some of these members of parliament put those issues in their pockets and continue frustrating them. So allow these young people, give them 1 week with your man, because they don't want you. You maintain security. They come up with a budget. They tell you how to allocate funds in various ministries. Like now agriculture is where there is employment, but it is underfunded. There is total, we can say it is only money meant for salaries that is allocated to the Ministry of Agriculture, to the Ministry of Tourism, to the Ministry of Housing. And then one wonders, then what is the essence of making this budget? If such issues, such critical issues are not factored in it, the best way, give them an opportunity. And this, it doesn't mean that they are going to make them in parliament. They just give a roadmap on how this should be done. Probably the members of parliament have no ideas on how to create opportunities, and these young people have got a way in this in which these opportunities can be created, and in a very low cost than what these other people may do. No, these are the digital people who come up with big ideas at a low cost. So, I've talked of the 3 things. Deal with corrupt officials. Use your sword now, because it has failed you to deal with corrupt officials. And by that I don't mean that you kill people. By that I mean you use your authority as the President of Kenya to deal with the corrupt officials. Give each independent institution its power, it is independence. Give it power by just allocating resources and oversighting them. There's one thing that I don't agree with most of the people, that you don't have to say, for example, judiciary is corrupt. You are an executive, you can oversight the judiciary, and the judiciary can say that, you can say the judiciary or the police are corrupt. At the same time, the police can say you are corrupt, or the judiciary can say you are corrupt, because you are different independent bodies, or they are not working because of you. That's how you check each other, you checkmate one another. No one should stop you from condemning the other one, and no one should stop the other one from condemning you. Machuka Nyarieko, TV Talk Show. Thank you.